Welcome back. We're going back to one of our top stories again this morning. A search and rescue or recovery operation at this stage that is continuing at an abandoned mine shaft in the Free State. Officials are trying to retrieve the bodies of suspected illegal miners who are believed to have died in a ventilation shaft. Locals and some mining sources believe that there may have even been foul play involved. Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko Mhlaba is live for us at the scene. Ziniko, and there were concerns, in fact, when the Minerals Department informed us of what was unfolding about methane gas in the air. I see your nose is covered. Is that why?
That's precisely why. We are actually at one. We are not far from the shaft itself, where the operations used to take place when this particular mine was still operational. So, from the understanding we've gathered from the people we've spoken to and some sources we've spoken to, apparently where we are now is the actual entry point, which was used by the people who got trapped inside. So as you can see there, this is a fence area. It's fenced off so that no one can be able to access it. So as my colleague Senzo is giving you those visuals. So the hole you see there, that's where the illegal miners use. That's where they get in so that they can be able to then travel towards where the minerals are. So from the understanding that we've been told, from the information we've been told, is that that hole goes deeper for about over 10 kilometers. So you can imagine the distance from the surface where we are deep into the ground. We're talking about over 10 kilometers on the ground. So as we are showing you those visuals, the smoke that you see there is the actual deadly chemicals that are coming out of here. So what we understand, talking to some of the gentlemen who've been helping us, giving us information, is that it becomes very difficult to have any access to oxygen when you're underground. And as I said earlier on, we're talking about over 10 kilometers going down here. And then as the entry point is here, you will travel about, sideways now, you'll travel about 20 kilometers into the actual shaft. So that's where things are. And from the understanding we've gathered so far, from the information we've gathered, is that where we are underneath, there might be about 5 or 6 or 7 bodies that are still underground. The biggest problem being, it seems as if the authorities might not have the required machinery to access the bodies underground. So that's the information, but that's the information we still need to verify with the authorities themselves. But the question typically becomes, why haven't those bodies been brought to surface so far? Maybe that might actually talk to the issue of not having enough capabilities in terms of machinery. So I'm going to bring in one of the gentlemen here, Rasta, who's very familiar with the operations of this entry point. Rasta, as he's coming to Duzile, he's very familiar, he's very, very familiar with the operations of this site. Thank you very much for your time. Just quickly, what usually happens here? How do illegal miners access this point?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. As you can see, there's the access point. What we are doing, you go down for more than 12 kilometers down, just here. You go for more than 12, where you see the maternity. You go down for more than 12 kilometers, and then it's about 30 k's to the shaft. That's how you get into the mine. But what has caused this is because of this, like you can see, there's methane gas. That's what they have. I also would like to correct you. It's more than, it's less than 10 bodies that have been recovered, which means there was 31 bodies that went down. So it means in essence we have more than 21 bodies that are still underneath there that hasn't been recovered.
So okay, fine. So you're saying out of the over 20 bodies that were reportedly still under the ground, very few have been recovered. Most of them are still underneath.
Yes, mostly they are still underneath, and I was actually to start by saying our deepest condolences to those families that have lost those bodies. Yes, but to answer your question, yes, we have more than 20 bodies still underneath here. They still need to be recovered.
I mean, how dangerous is it to access this mine from here? Because I don't see any stairs here people can use. So how do people actually go down?
My brother, it's very dangerous, my brother. By the look of things, you can see by your naked eye, my brother, that there is no equipment there to take you down there. So basically, it's a risk that you take to go down there, my brother, which can be very vicious for some viewers.
Right. So just quickly, my brother, the smoke that's coming out there, how widespread is it underneath? And in terms of as illegal miners, you are underground, you're trying to access oxygen. So what's the situation underground in terms of inhaling any oxygen or any form of vapor that's underneath it?
Oh, my brother, if you can see, just by standing here, you can smell. There's chemicals that you are inhaling. So notwithstanding, even if you can go down there, you can just imagine going down there. But just by standing here, you can smell, my brother. Yes, you are wearing a mask even yourself. It's because the way that methane gas is so strong, it's very dangerous.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother there. I'll chat to you later on. So that's the situation in Tembegile. I can tell you from my naked eye, as Rasta said, that this is definitely not safe. But obviously, the places I said earlier on that is cordoned off, so no one is supposed to be accessing it. But obviously, illegal miners do access it, and that's the entry point. Apparently, as the gentleman just said, most bodies are still underneath. But in terms of the figures, we don't know yet the actual figures. We're still working very hard to verify those numbers. But that's the situation here. This is where it all starts. This is the entry point. That smoke that's coming out there, it's coming. So you can imagine how hectic it is when it comes to having to, I don't know how I don't want to say walk down or how they descend into that ground, but yeah, from what we are told, it's very, very dangerous. And as you can see that it's an open field. You can just come in and access that point. I understand that there is a private security that is supposed to be guarding this place, or that's supposed to be making rounds to check that there aren't any movements from this side. But since we've been here, we have not identified any. But we've been advised that at some point we'll have to quickly get out of this place.
Ziniko, very briefly, is anyone actually down there this morning trying to retrieve those bodies?
Nope, not at all. From what from the situation we are seeing, or on the surface, I don't see any SAPS or any state vehicle that is here that might look as if it's here to do some work or to try to retrieve. As I said, it's as quiet as church. There's no movement here at all. It's just us who are here with our vehicle and also the gentlemen that are accompanying us here.
Mhlaba,
so there's no sign of that typically at all.
All right, thank you, Ziniko. We'll touch base with you again in the next hour. You're looking now at a live shot out of Valcom in the Free State, a disused mine shaft, a ventilation shaft, where we now understand more than 30 illegal miners, suspected illegal miners, perished in recent days. So far, fewer than 10 of those bodies have been recovered, according to the gentleman who was speaking to Ziniko a short time ago.